Hey team, Matty231 here with another video. Today we've got the 221 S600 facelift back in the workshop for another service check over. So we haven't seen it in about 12 months, so it's due for its yearly check, and the YouTube subscriber who brought it to me originally, which is good. So we're going to go through it, and we have a few jobs to do that we'll go through in a sec. So let's get it inside. Oh. Look at this team, I love the plates here, the full chrome ones. In my 600 they just sort of standard, they're not glass like that, glass chrome. Alright, so we'll start her up and put her inside. What's our oil level like? Yep, overdue 19 days. Oh no, I am gonna get penalised, aren't I? Turn that off, there we go. So we hold down OK, we hold down the answer phone button, then OK. Get to our measurement. This 600's a lot more spec than mine. It's got lane keep assist, it's got tension assist, it's got Distronic, and all those good bits and pieces that were just a few years newer than my car. It's also got ABC Sport, which mine doesn't have, even though they're both ABC cars, so it's quite interesting. 9.7 litres, so it should be around 9.5. That's fine, just slightly over. That's good to see. Cool. So we can quickly say we're not leaking any oil. Now, last time we had this car, we did the ABC dampener and also the fluid flush and also transmission flush, etc. So we're going to check the ABC system again today, just check how it's running. The car's literally only done, I think I did it at 180 something thousand, and it's only done 183, so he's only done about 2,000 Ks in it. Very underdriven, not driven a lot at all, which is not always a good thing. He's got it inside under a cover, so that's always a very good start. I've heard that not driving them primarily for the ABC suspension side of things can be a negative. We'll check it all out, not that we're going to be able to see much. We'll get my 600 out of the office because it's in the way right now. Cool, so there's his one, there's our one, or my one. The old girl, pre-facelift. The only thing my car, well my 600 has up on the facelift one is I've got the full panoramic glass sunroof with also the nicer dark grey suede interior rather than the sort of light grey suede, but they're both equally as nice, obviously. It's weird, they feel like, frankly, material wise very different cars. That 600 there feels a lot more like the modern 204 2010 plus, whereas this still has that sort of classic-y W211 gen, you know, mid-2000s sort of feel to it. So they've obviously got different things. Now I've got a new starter motor, so mine starts a lot easier, a lot quicker. Nearly. It hasn't been getting run a lot lately. So we'll get mine out. Mine's got an annoying noise you can probably hear. It's got like a pulley noise, and I'm scared. I don't know what it is, so I need to figure it out, but I'll worry about that later. Anyway, we'll get this outside and get his one in. Right team, so just looking at what we did last year, so 180,000 Ks, it's done 183 now, just over. That's good to see. We've done very little Ks, but we did quite a bit last time. Rear diff oil, PCV cover cap, ABC flush, pulsation damper, voltage regulator. Actually, that was good as well, we did that. So this time we're doing the transmission. We've got a new genuine oil filter from Mercedes from the US that we're going to do right now. That's our first job. We've got engine oil filter. We're going to check the ABC system, as I say. We'll check all the other bits as well on the car, just make sure it's all in good condition. We'll do an inspection underneath soon. And I noticed that there was this badge missing here. The turbo, just the U there. Apparently it's in the glove box, so I'll see if there is one there. Otherwise I do have a turbo by turbo badge from my old W212 E63 I used to own about 8 years ago. So I do have the full badge for that. I do not believe this badge is actually the correct factory badge for these cars. It's supposed to be just more subtle like mine, where you just have V12 and that's it. You don't have, they didn't put the bi-turbo part on these cars apart from the S65, from what I understand. Love this as well. Love this chrome sill, which mine doesn't have either. Yeah, I was going to check the batteries as well, but it's already got a very good battery in the front there. The house battery's up the front, whereas on the pre-facelift it's in the back, which is interesting. But I'll try and get into the back and we'll check the starter battery as well, make sure it's in okay condition. What else are we doing? Transmission flush. Yes, and of course, obviously as well, we're doing the front pulleys and everything. So we're gonna pull this all off the front here, replace these little idlers, replace this guy here, just check everything's good up front. Cool, so we'll get into it first by starting with the fuel filter and possibly an undercarriage inspection. So let's get WIS open so we can see how to do the fuel filter safely. It's basically going to be located on the back left or right here, so let's find out. Right team, so we're just doing an initial scan on the car before we do anything at all, so we know what we're dealing with, and obviously just we've got a benchmark as to what's happening. I have noticed a few little dings around the car, which is a little bit upsetting. You probably can't really see them, just one there. But basically, another thing I love about this car is it's got the actual, the blind system, which is really cool. Probably doesn't look as nice on the door with the big hole there, but it's quite a cool feature. So basically we've got our fuel filter under the system here. So if I roll this seat out, yeah, about there, there's basically little hooks that hold this cushion in place. Yeah, there they are. So it's right up, you won't be able to see it, but if you put your finger up, you'll feel, and pull your finger towards you, you'll feel a clip that pushes out, and then it'll allow you to push, there we go, to like lift the cushion and pull it out like that. And there's our bits under there. Window down. Cool. And then we can access, there'll be a harness for the seat heater and also for the fans as well, I believe. So, because this car's got fans too. So we need to make sure we retain that. Cool. So let me just finish the scan and we'll get into that fuel filter. Right team, so we've got, firstly, if we're doing the fuel filter, we need to, per WIS, have less than half a tank of fuel, which this car has a quarter, so that's fine, because we don't want fuel spilling into the passenger compartment, obviously. So just looking at the faults, engine has one fault. Literally quite a few of them have a fault, and I bet you it'll probably be because there's probably been a low voltage event. The battery was apparently low at some point, so yeah, there you go. Most of them will be all under voltage. Button left add distribution effective or 25 seconds. Rear air conditioning operating unit. Under voltage. Parktronic. Yes, there's a mix of communication and low voltage. Possibly all correlated. Door unit less than 5.5 volts. Don't worry about that. I'm just keen to see what the possible issue is with the engine. Yeah, the dynamic seats always have faults. Mine has a few faults as well, unfortunately, because the air bladers in the seats for the bolstering usually it's leak or stop working properly, which is something I need to fix on my car. Crikey. Active body control power under voltage. Good, okay. Well, at least ABC doesn't have anything obvious. It's massively expensive to fix. Motor, charge air coolant circuit, charge air temperature is too high. So that can sometimes be caused by incorrect or improper filling the secondary circuit. I've had that on my one before as well, and usually we basically just check that that's full properly. So we'll do that as well on this, just to make sure. Cool team, I'm going to erase them all. We'll start fresh. It's definitely a bloody that one's come back again already. That's interesting. Part of me wonders if it's actually, yeah, okay, anyway, we'll let that reset. And yeah, so we've got our parts here. I've got a few others as well. We've got 2 pulleys, genuine idler pulleys. We've got genuine belt tensioner, which are flippin' expensive, but I was able to get it cheap from the dealer, funnily enough, not from the US, which is weird. So it's cheaper from the dealer. Fuel filter from the US, definitely cheaper than the dealer. I've got lots of other parts to go into stock, but they aren't for this car. Potentially the oil cap is. How bad's this one? Oh yeah, no, we'll replace this oil cap. You can see the light fracturing and the big crack there. They're literally like, $30 to $40 or whatever from the dealer, so they're a cheap replacement, or you can get an OEM one for like 10 or 20 bucks. So we'll replace that cap. So we'll reserve that cap for this car straight away. I'll just double check it's the right one, but I've got a few of them. Let that clear out. Right team, so a good quality OEM filter is Hengst. This is the one for the M275. That's the code for it. And very cost effective compared to the genuine one. Not massively different, but still, it's basically the same filter. Often you'll see the genuine ones have the actual Hengst logo on them. So we've got Continental OEM belt. Wow, OEM? Yeah, you could say it's OEM. If we look at, I've got a belt on the shelf for an OM 642 diesel, and that's got Continental written on it. So we can say it's OEM, I'm sure. And it's obviously engineered in Germany. I'm sure it's made in China still, isn't it? Doesn't say where, but I imagine it's still made in China. I don't know. Just engineered seems to me to be like designed in Germany, but doesn't mean it's made there. Whereas, our other pulleys here, made in Germany. That's where you get that. And we've got a 722.6 that's made in China, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, I guess, but it's not like everything used to be where it's all was in Germany. Stuck on clearing the code for this one, which is annoying. We'll crack into doing a fuel filter. Let's open this up. On these harnesses here, team, so you've got these two here, and they clip together. They sort of clip face down together like this, and they create a square like that. And you've just got to lift the lip up on this here with a little pick, like my Wonder Pick, after you've removed it from here, which just involves obviously pressing that little tab down and pulling it back, so it's not hard. And then that lets you free that up, which then allows you to pull this off. So like I was saying before, there are those tabs I was talking about, and you can see that's where it retains to the base of the seat on these little squares here. So that's literally all you've got to do. You've just got to press those out and it'll pop out and slide out. So that's our seat base, which is cool. Here's our assembly here, and these just hook from underneath like that. Simple. Just tuck them out of the way. Don't just grab any rubbish. And then our filter should be under here. I might just tuck those back there. Cool. I'm trying to remember how this works. Yeah, I think we've got to just put some pressure on that and turn it. Oh god, okay, that's done, team. The fuel filter's out with minimal fuel spillage, which is good. Just making sure any parts I possibly did get a few drips, I'll just wipe it up so it doesn't smell. Our seal's still good. There's a little bit of debris that's fallen into the tank there, but at the end of the day it's not going to get sucked up, but I'll try and clean it up in a sec so that there's not too much stuff in there. So yeah, we've got our little electrical connector as well, which is here. So we'll keep that here, and yeah, the trick is basically you need to, on these hoses, there's the center section here, and then there's a squishy curved part on each end. You need to push in the squishy part, which pushes apart the outer clips, that then lets you pull it off. But a flathead screwdriver is definitely a requirement, from what I can tell, to get that off easily, to just pry very gently when you're squeezing those clips for the hose to then basically come out and nipple on the fuel filter. Let's get our new one put in and get it all closed up again. Right team, so our new filter's going in. I've removed a bit of debris from the tank. Not all of it, but enough to kick us off. So I've got my seal. There's no need to really replace the seal. It's very unlikely it's damaged unless you've actually accidentally punched it or something. So save yourself $40 US buying a new one. Just grab the new filter. Just make sure your little prongs are in situ. Everything looks like it's good to go. So from memory, it sort of orientates this way. So this little notch faces forward. So I'll start with the main hose. Before I do that final one, I'll just chuck the electrical connector on the bottom. Hey. Hey. All good?
Yep. Glad it's done.
What's that?
Glad it's done.
Yeah, nice. What are you doing?
I don't know.
I just need to give you my card as well still. What? I need to give you my card still.
You need to give me your card.
No, I need to give you my card.
Ah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on, team. And then just be careful we don't rip that off. Good. Just gonna be careful that things don't grab onto anything. Also, yeah, there's also like a little like clip that holds the pipes closely together. Just make sure that they haven't pushed out. It's probably not critical, but just to be safe. So I've just checked my one and it's all good. So that's good. Oh. That's all the fittings back on. Seals in place, yep. Cool. There we go. So we'll just tighten the bolts up, team, reconnect it up, and then we'll test start the car, get that pump running. So let's zip the bolts back up. So team, I've put the plate back on, torqued it down to 5 Newton meters, just crossing over each one when we torque it. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just made a little label that's not really probably going to fit anywhere, but I'll just chuck it here anyway. So if they sell the car and someone doesn't communicate the service history, at least they can see it's been changed. I don't always do that, I just do it on things like starter motors and stuff, batteries. Cool, that's that. Cool. So that's all back in place now, team. We just hook up these little hooks again, pull all our crap out. Got our 3 plastic bags, so we know there's nothing in the tank. And all my tools are accounted for as well. Not that they're going to really do anything, but we don't want to lose good quality tools in the fuel tank. So what we'll do now, team, is we'll start her up. That's all plugged in. Everything underneath's plugged in. We just simply fold that cover back down, but before we do, we've got to put the cap on, which I'll just not do yet. We'll turn her on. Just check nothing's in the way here. No, all good. I don't know what the process is. I don't know if it'll fire straight away or if it'll need a bit of a crank, but we'll find out, won't we? Where's our key? ¿Dónde está mi llaves? Here they are. So, can't say I can hear that pump running, and I never have, but I assume it'll just run as normal, hopefully. Actually, what I'll do is just also at the same time put the just lift the car up again so it's not half sitting on its suspension. Good. So I got going in the end. Took a few seconds. Oh, look at all that V12 displacement. Someone can probably tell me, but I imagine this is... Oh no, it has a It does make a very slight noise, so I assume there's a pump in there. Again, I'm not sure personally. The front end has a few squeaks actually, which is good because we're replacing those pulleys. But we'll see what else is squeaking around, so that's fine. Let's turn it off before I kill myself from carbon monoxide poisoning. That's fine, so now we'll just put this back together, team. I'm going to do it off camera, so all we're doing is putting that plate back on. Putting our plate back on here. As you can see, it's got the little teeth, and there is that matching thing. And what I believe, you got the arrow up the top there, it should sit in there. Then you twist it. God dang. I'll do it off camera, but twist it so that's perfectly aligned. And then, yep, we've basically sealed off that area from the cabin, so we stop the smell. Chuck that back in there, hook this up underneath like that, and then we reinsert our cushion, and we grab, oh, some kids' Lego toys, we grab our connectors and we reconnect that bottom piece. There's one of them, I think that's for the fans, and then you've got your beefier ones which have a higher amperage for the heaters, so we'll plug those back in and then we're done. Right, team, seats back in. It only takes a few minutes, nice and easy. Got our cooling fans, you can hear those running, so that's good. For the seat heaters, we're not going to know. I don't know if there's a fault. I don't know if these turn off automatically, but we'll scan it later anyway. But just check that's working as well when you reassemble it, right? Put our window up and we'll give this a vacuum later on once we've done everything else. So now we're moving to the front. Here's our old fuel filter. There's the filters within this unit here. It's obviously sealed in there, and I imagine that's some sort of fuel pressure regulator that I guess manages the pressure returning fuel back into the tank. It's still dripping a bit of fuel. This one's in working order. It's just obviously done a few Ks, and in the brand new one, obviously the filter was like mint, nice and clean. You could see through the hole here that it was like sparkling white, just like an oil filter. That's a good bit of preventative maintenance that I need to actually do on my car as well. I haven't done it on my V12 yet. Anyway, what we're going to do now, team, is disassemble the front here, get onto that. We'll probably do this last, I think. We'll do this at the end, but basically we want to just do our front belt system. So that's going to come off, don't be alarmed. You can just pull the whole thing off. Maybe do it a little more glamorously than that, just so you don't scratch anything. And then all we need to do is just start pulling this front metal plate off. You've got all these little 10mm bolts, so zip them out, pull these out, lever these out. Ah, bugger. For some reason these seem to go missing. So there's one on both sides. Well, there should be one on both sides, and I don't know if people forget to put them back or if maybe from the factory they only came with one, but my car was exactly the same, and I bought a new cover, so I had it matching, obviously, because I'm super anal like that. Weird. Okay, well, I might see if he wants to replace that. If he wants to be super anal like myself, we'll pull this stuff up. Just be careful with these covers, guys. The tabs break on these very easily. So just like to do that first and just make sure you avoid snapping any of these tabs off. It still has all its ones, luckily, otherwise you're going to pay like $100 for this piece of plastic. So we'll zip these off, pull these out, and just make sure before you do that, Tim, as well, you pull these little rivets out here. They're a bit of a bastard, so what I tend to do is get a bit of CRC or WD-40, spray it on them, because you're not going to screw them out. I can guarantee you that. You'll just strip them or they won't move. So we'll get our CRC. Skip this part of the video, me walking around, so I'm not tying up everyone's time. Otherwise, if you're still watching, we forgot to edit this out because we're so busy. We don't have time to edit perfectly. As you can tell, the video quality is not great, but we do our best. For what we've got, so spray a bit of stuff on there like that, and then just get a tool like this or a trim panel remover, it'll give you, you can just get the end under, there we go, the rivet like that. Just don't put too much pressure on it because you will tear it. And then get your little one like this. Right team, hold up. I'm getting things a little bit wrong here, so we spray it with a bit of CRC or WD-40. Then, yeah, like I said, you get your pick and you want to try and like lift up. See, just be careful you don't scratch things like I was nearly doing there. These ones are actually on really well, which is weird because you don't normally see them like that. They're normally very, very easy to get. Crikey. Here we go, that's better. So if you get a screwdriver, like I was saying before, you know, you're not really going to turn it. It turns a little bit and then it sort of slips, but you're just dealing with plastic, obviously, so. But then if you can get like something to leave it between both sides of the head, yeah, there you go. Then you can pull it out like that. Ultimately, it'll give you a little bit of leverage to then wobble the screw out without damaging it and needing to replace it, because these are, you can't really go and buy AliExpress clips because they don't match. They're never the same. And B, they're about $4 or $5 a piece. I've actually got brand new ones in my unit here, but I've got all the AliExpress clips in the world and they never fit. They're always bloody too big or the wrong hole size. So if you just carefully look after how you remove them, you won't need to replace them. And they're just, yeah, you're just obviously prying it out so that these can then compress and pull out with the harness. Cool, so let's pull this off then. Right, so we've taken those bolts out, guys. All these rivets are out here. So we're free to lift this up. Before we do, we just need to remove the latches here. So there's a little spring clip which you first need to pull out, and then you can pull, I'll show you in a sec, and you can pull the cable out and press it out of its carrier. So the cable that opens the hood latch, or the hood latch hooks into, it slips into this cubby here. So this little spring holds it in place. So you need to just, it's pretty easy, just spread it apart with a screwdriver or your finger, and then there's a little rubber sort of guide that holds the cable in there. Pop those out and away you go, you're done. So that's easy. Good.
Who's that one?
This customer. Yeah, this guy, a builder, this Asian guy is a builder. This is weekend car. Same as my grey one, just slightly newer. It's a few years newer. But he pays me to work on it, which is nice. Because he doesn't trust anyone else.
True.
Nah. He's good, he brings around a whiskey and when he picks it up and cash. Nah, I put it through my business, but I could do cash if I wanted to, yeah. Fuck, it's a bitch this one, eh? Jesus. He just spends whatever on it. He's just like, just replace whatever you want to replace.
True. It's
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't need much, so it's pretty fucking long. The motorbike's a dog, eh?
Yeah, do you know how to start it?
Yeah. It just needs, do you know the choke on it?
No.
Oh, so we're... Cool team, so that's out. It was a bit of a tight one actually, so I had to use that pick in there to get into it. So we just lift this up. Now, you're not going to pull it straight off because there's underneath, we have the cable. go. The cable's mounted for the hood release to the bottom here. There you go. So under here, team, you've got these little clips. I actually have a stash of these brand new on the shelf because these people snap them unintentionally. And then all you need to do is just press these from the outside in, and then you can pull them back through again like that. Cool. And sometimes these rip these sort of bushes here, but this one's fine. So we'll pull those off. These ones are still in good condition, they're not snapped, so we won't replace them. And then we can get into removing the radiator. So team, that's out of the way. See, this is what I mean. Look at that, I barely touched it and it broke. Far out. Okay, well, let's add that to the list. We'll put that in there to remind me. We'll take our intakes off. Again, you've got to be careful with these as well. They're pretty hardy on the M275. They're not flimsy like we find on the 113 snorkels and on the 210 where they're sort of a brittle plastic. Not obviously as bad as BMW, obviously, but that one there. Just make sure you check those as well and make sure you clean them out, because sometimes you get bees and leaves and stuff in them. Cool. That's all good. So we move that forward there. We pull these little clips out. Just a tool like that, team. Everything you do with the radiator, just take your time, don't rush it. So these little clips hold the fan shroud onto the radiator itself. And then the radiator fan literally just hooks into there and hooks onto the back of the radiator through another couple of clips, and that's about it. Cool. So now that'll be, once you lift this, it separates from here, and you just need to pull this out of the way, undo the electrical connector, which is down here. Right down there. It's not too hard. It looks far away, but it's not too hard to get to. There's just two on each side. Just squeeze and pull it. Yep, there we go. Cool. Good. And that's all you need to remove, which is nice, because on the 113K, not that engine, but the 113K, these flipping lines bolted to it at the bottom, and just to take this fan out is a real pain in the ass. So it's not... The 275 V12 is complicated, but it's not as bad as people say it is once you get used to working on it. I'll do this off camera, team. It's just a bit of a bastard to pull out. You've got to sort of tip it and tilt it when it comes out. So just be careful of that. I don't want to obviously damage anything on this customer's car, so we'll do it on time lapse. Cool, so the fan's out, guys, so you're just trying to avoid this hose here and also the port, the connection to the radiator there from the thermostat. Trying to be mindful of that. And then you've got full picture here, which is good. It's a nice dry engine bay, which is good so far, so I'm sure nothing's changed since last year. So we'll get that belt off. I've just seen a few things that my car doesn't have, like this piece here, this rubber. It's got a part number 50506 or something. You can see if my car needs that. Probably doesn't, but it may be just a little bit of extra sound deadening. And then if you look here on the cowling, plastic cowling, we also have a little carrier for the cable, and these always go brittle after a while. They still work, but they go brittle. So yeah. Anyway, what we're going to do now is take this belt off. So it's very simple on this engine. Just a 17mm, wee bit of leverage on it like this here. 17mm bar, and your idler is that guy right there, and all you need to do is it's around there somewhere. You can tell how much I remember this engine. I can bloody you get everything without even sort of feeling for it. So move it like that. Just going to pull the belt off the front there, like that. So I've just pulled it off the pulley. This will then swing back down into its position. Pull that out. You don't really need that at the moment. And then the belt just comes out. Now on this radiator here, this connection, this one actually from the factory has this little rivet that holds it in place, which I've never had on my car and I've never used it. Just FYI. Just make sure you pull that out if yours does have it still. My radiator on my car was replaced back in around 2011, and I think it was involved in a front end collision because it was only 3 years old and the radiator was a 2010 build, so it doesn't make any sense that it's faulty. As for the belt team, it's a genuine Mercedes belt. Sorry, my camera's not great. The belt's really fine, it's good as gold. What you're looking for is normally cracks in the belt, which this one doesn't have, which is good. It's a little bit glossy and shiny on the back here, but again, there's no like cracking or deformation or rubbing. So usually just go over it and just check it. So that belt's fine. Our owner of the 600 here, he's like me, he's very fussy. We're just replacing it anyway. That's still actually a perfectly good belt, so we'll just keep that as a spare on the shelf if he needs it or anyone else needs it. Not that you would after replacing it, but anyway. Water pump. Good. Oh, that's perfect, mate. That water pump's mint. No play at all. Mine has a little bit of play in it. Just a very small, like, tick, 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 tick. Not even that bad, but still just very slightly. This thing's solid and silent, which is nice. These idlers, mate, yeah, that one's, yeah, so that one's toast. This one's fine. This one, you can hear that bearing in it. So that's good. So we've got a new one of those. This is the other one we've got, the $150 pulley. This one's fine, but it does have a bit of play, but more so you can, or I can just hear the balls and the bearing rattling a little bit. I actually removed mine on my 221 and opened up the bearing seal and re-greased inside it and cleaned it with petrol and everything, because mine's got a squeak, as I've told you earlier, so I need to figure out what that is, because I've already done all these on my one. And our tensioner, not bad, but it does have a bit of noise on it. And we've got to bear in mind as well, we have plastic. A little bit of play on that air conditioner pulley, but nothing bad. And our ABC pump. Feels good. Cool. So we'll strip these off. 1, 2, and our tensioner as well. We've got brand new, genuine tensioner. Brand new pulleys for both. One of them's fine, but we're replacing all of it anyway. And our drive pulley here, which is a part for the 277, which is the newer V12. So we went from the 275 to the 277. And I think the 279 is the last iteration of the V12, I think. Yeah, cool. Right, team, pulling these little idler caps off. So you can probably see on the camera there, yeah, there's two there. They've got little plastic caps. I carry some spare ones because I'm always scared I'm going to break them because they are quite awkward to get out. But if you can get a small screwdriver in, yeah, there you go. And then you sort of don't twist a little bit, but pull out, and it sort of just has enough to pull the cap out. That's all it is there. Someone's been in here before, I believe, because there's a few scratches on the caps. And the bottom one's shouldn't be too hard, but it might be a bit of a pain. I remember when I first did this job, it took me like half an hour to get these caps off. So it could just be me Being more familiar with how to do this now, so don't be afraid to just take a bit more time on your first time to get them out. But yeah, with a flathead screwdriver, approaching them sort of sideways and just getting that in and pulling it, we'll pop those out, and then we've just got a T30 or something to take those off. So we'll whip those off, and we'll also whip that idler off, and also our tensioner is made up of, it looks like, so here's a brand new one, brand new genuine tensioner thing. It was cheaper buying this from the dealer than it was online on FCP Euro, which is funny. Yeah, no noise. No. This one's actually still pretty good, team, but while we're in there. So yeah, it's just got 2 attachment points, and I believe it's mounted like that in the car. So we've got one at the bottom, one at the top, and those are normal male Torx, whereas these are like female Torx or e-Torx or whatever you call them. Half the time I don't know the difference between them, but yeah. Oh, there we go. There is, team, generally a specific torque to redo them back up to. I believe it would be around 20 to 30 newton meters, probably at a minimum. Generally though, I just do these up good and tight. I don't get too carried away, because A, I find it difficult to find the torque specs for a start, and B, you know, we're dealing with a aluminium timing case, relatively thick in sort of 6 screws, so I'm not going to go overboard. Yes, if we look at this one, team, it's obviously dry, you can hear it. Yeah, a bit of dirt built up in here. It looks to me like it's, the original. And based on, the plastic rim here, we can see a 137 part number, so it's a genuine pulley. So I really doubt it's been replaced before, and if it has, it's been replaced by a dealer, which again I'd say would be unlikely. If it is the original, it's due anyway. It's about 15 years old as of this recording, so we'll get a new one of those. The other one's still okay for now, but you can just see the marks the pulleys leave, and that's not abnormal. That's what mine do on my car as well. But yeah, you want to especially make sure, if you're not replacing them, that there's no cracks or fatiguing in those pulleys, because if one of those plastic housings snaps, it's going to rip the belt off and you're going to be in a lot of shit. So make sure that's not the case. Cool, we'll take this guy off here. I do have my electric tools somewhere, but sometimes I just can't be bothered getting them out. It's not a lot of extra work doing it by hand. Now this pulley is generally a metal pulley. So it's a little more sturdy than our other fellas. Interesting. This is weird, team. There's like a lot of oil buildup on, like, inside these pulleys, and also on the other one as well. I noticed the same thing. Interesting. But yeah, these are metal, so you're never really going to have an issue with the pulley itself. It's really just that bearing. It's not bad, but it's still got that noise you can hear. And yeah, that's the original as well, 2010 week 38, so definitely needs to be replaced. A very expensive pulley to replace. So before we replace those two, we'll also just pull that tensioner off. So I'll pull that off camera. Literally just a 1 minute job. Pull that out. Again, genuine idler. Genuine tensioner, sorry. And the idler and the pulley as well is in fine condition. There's no cracks at all, which is good. Again, something we just want to make sure there isn't any. The pulley's a little bit old. It's still a good piece of equipment, like it just needs to be cleaned up, and I might take it apart later and see if I can replace the bearing in it, and then it's literally good as new again. And anyone who says, like, from the outset they're scared of the V12, like, yes, it's an expensive engine, 100%, but it's not a scary engine to work on. It's pretty bloody simple in my opinion. It's just a bit bigger than the old 113, and there's just a few more cooling hoses and exhaust manifolds and bits and pieces, but there's plenty of room. You know, you work on a OM 642 like I did on my recent video, or you work on a D7, you know, AMG V8 bi-turbo. They're so much more fucking complicated. They're just full of all this shit. Even though these are very similar, I guess, fundamentally, the twin turbo V8, V12 twin turbo V8, but there's just so much more crammed in. Like, you have to take off so much to get to things, whereas this V12, sure, sounds scary because it's a Mercedes V12, but, you know, pull your fan out, pull your front, what's the correct term for it? Can't remember at the moment, but your sort of front cover here, pull that off, pull your fan out, take your belt off, and you're there. You can see everything. Look at it, all of it. Can't necessarily do a lot without also taking some other stuff off. It's not hard. Just inspecting. Things, team. There, no. A little bit dark though, so if we look in there, you'll recall last we replaced this PCV valve because I think that was causing a lot of leaking issues, and if we look at it now, it's not wet anymore. It's still a bit, you know, oily and dusty because I haven't cleaned any of it up, but there's nothing there that signals it's still leaking oil, which is good, because I think you'll remember we cleaned that cover up as well pretty well, and there's nothing sort of fresh oil wise looking on it. Still a bit of, you can still see a bit of dust has adhered to some of the oil on the thing there, but there's nothing that seems to be pouring down, so I'm going to assume it's all good. If we do look at the front covers here, we can sort of see the beginnings, I believe, of leaking front cover, linking valve cover gasket. My question is it the valve cover gasket, or is it a mix of something else? Maybe the oil cap, obviously, so it's even got a crack in it. If there's enough pressure, it'll crankcase or positive crankcase pressure, it'll obviously bring some of that oil through there as well. I might just chuck my camera down, team, and have a quick look. And just see if we can see anything else, because if it's going to be a problem, I'd rather do it now, I think, than leave it. Yeah, when you get to the top, it is a bit hard to see stuff without taking everything apart. So I might just get my camera out and just snake it through the gaps here and see if I can see anything. Yeah, it might need those covers done. So we've got our new pulley team. I'm always worried if this is the right part number, because this one wouldn't fit my one when I originally purchased it. It's the same pulley, it's the same bolt roughly. If that one's got the plastic dowel on it, and it's got this little bearing cap cover at the back. So I might just put that onto this one. It probably doesn't even need it, to be honest. We'll just try and put it on and see what it does. Yeah, part of me says it might not want to go on, but we'll try it. It's like it's sort of pressed onto it. So yeah, okay, no, that's right, yep. Good. On my one, it wouldn't even spin. Like it was sort of like something on the pulley was binding against the timing case. So obviously there's been a slight revision on the facelifted model where that's not a problem. Even though the dealer ordered me that part. So clearly it's some strange revision that they... Cool. Got a nice fresh brand new idler pulleys thing. So these are ready to go. Same story. No cracks on them, they look really good to me. Nice INA bearings. And these are pretty basic, they just sit on a little cap, on a little sort of dowel, and then we screw them in. And I've even got brand new screws for this as well, so we've got brand new cap screws. You don't have to do screws, team. I just buy them because I'm always worried. Sometimes pulleys have different sort of centers here, so I'm always concerned I'm going to buy the pulley and then the screw that was on the original isn't going to work with the new one. So I like to just buy the screw because they're only a few dollars. Okay. Yeah, so for now I'm not going to touch those timing cover gaskets. Timing cover, valve cover gaskets. But I probably will next time round. The car doesn't get driven at all really. I don't think it's mission critical to do the now. This bank 2 seems good to me. It's just bank 1. It just has a little bit of weeping to the front side here, which I'd like to clean up. So do that. This screw might be like a T50 team. This one actually fits, but it's not. It's still not the right actual size. It could go a bit bigger. Cool. Perfect. Nice. And then we've got our new caps. So for the sake of keeping everything looking good, we'll chuck these new caps on. Or just put your existing cap back. They just snap straight in and you're done. Perfect. Cool. So that doesn't take too long, team. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's got a pin in it, so don't forget to take that out. So I'll probably take that out once I've put the belt back on. So there's all our spare caps just to go on the shelf. So we'll keep those. Put our screws on. Our bags there. And then we've got our new belt. Got our new Continental V-belt ready to go. So I'm going to weave that onto the engine. I don't actually remember what way it goes. I might need to look it up, but I'll have an educated guess first. On a roll, team. This only took me a minute as well. I remember how to do the belt without having to look up the graph. What I like to do first is start with the crank pulley. And then also, so the crank pulley wraps around the tensioner there. It goes under this first one. That's why we get the little lines on this pulley, because it's exposed to the belt. Then it wraps around the water pump and then around the alternator. So the alternator is another key one to do first, because there's this pipe here for the cooling system that sort of gets in the way. Is that the cooling system? No, that's ABC pressure line, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The belt sits on there and it lets you bring it all the way up over that new pulley, under the top idler, and then around your ABC, around your AC, and then back to your crank. And when that pin's in there, it's really easy to do. You don't have to like struggle because the tension's fully off. So if I chuck my educated guess here where that is. Oh my lord. Okay, I'm definitely failing at this part. Basically, we just want to find where that bolt is and put the pressure on it, and then we can take that pin out so we can unload the tensioner and tension the belt. Done. Just check, team, go over each pulley, mainly the ribbed pulleys, and make sure the belt's seated properly. So make sure there's no gaps or no like extra, make sure the belt's not sort of hanging half over or anything like that, just to avoid it coming off when you start the car up. So that one's all good to go. Aside from that bit from the oil, everything looks pretty good to me. So we've done that front end. We'll now reinstall the front piece, put the front back together, and then lift it up and start doing our oil and underneath inspection. Before we do that though, I might actually run the car just for 10 minutes just to get the oil circulating and warmed up a bit. Right, team, underneath the 600, everything's pretty bloody clean, which is good for an older high mileage V12. We do have a little bit of oil build up on the upper pan here, as you can see. It was exactly the same before I restored it, but even since restoring or redoing my engine, I've still got a light sort of shadow of oil staining there. We also have some on the lower pan, which will just be oil migrating from there down to here. That is what it is. It could also be rear main seal related, but probably not. There's not a lot of oil on the bottom of here, so that's probably not critical. But again, if you ever drop this engine, obviously you no doubt do all those key seals. Turbocharger looks good. The turbocharger lower coolant lines and oil lines, you can see them there. There's no build-up on them, which is good. Same on this side, I imagine. Yeah, same on this side. You might not be able to see it on the camera. So everything's clean. It's just that lower pan's upper pan's a bit dirty. That would generally be the upper pan itself. It could also be caused by if this car develops that leak that my car had in the centre V. That could also contribute to that as well. However, I would say I remember checking this car last year and it had no sign of that leak, which was good. But yeah, I believe there's drains up the top of the engine in the V. So if oil spills or leaks in there, it drains and runs down, and that could also cause that or show that build-up of oil there at the bottom of the pan. But that's speculation. I need to look closer at that. But again, it's not dripping. It's just sort of wet slightly. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. So what we'll do, team, is get our 13mm, crack that bolt, drop the oil out. We've undone the oil cap at the top so the oil can flow down, and we'll let it drain out for a little bit and then come back, put the new copper washer back on and reseal it, put everything back on the bottom in terms of the engine stuff, and then we'll also drain out transmission fluid as well. I'm sort of reluctant. I might do a bit of research quickly, but I'm sort of reluctant to pull the whole pan again and replace the filter, only because the transmission's done barely 2,000 Ks since I last serviced it. So I don't know if that really warrants all that extra labour on my part, pulling it apart just to change a filter that's had only a couple of thousand Ks worth of oil flowing through it. So I might just do a bit of research and decide on that shortly. If you were to do the transmission on this car, we just undo the screw here. It helps us move this metal shield here, heat shield. Then we undo our electrical connector. There's usually, like a bolt there and a bolt there. No, not that one. Where is it? Up the side here, up the top. There's that bolt there, which is a bit of a bastard to get to be honest. And it lets you sort of drop this harness for the catalytic converters. Then, this one's a different one. I forgot about that. This one's got this weird sort of shield here as well, which isn't really common. So we need to take the bolts for that out. Then it will expose all the bolts for the pan here, which we can take the pan out. So it's not a major, it still takes a little bit of extra time. So I'm just going to have a look and see if we really should be doing that right now, or if it's just literally spending money for no reason. Because at a minimum, we can drop the oil from here. Just crack that out, drop the oil, and put back in what we just took out. Simple as that. So that'll be a lot faster. Anyway, let's continue to drain the oil. Way faster than I remember. Just that one bolt there, and this heat shield is also snuggled into a little bracket up here, maybe where my finger is. So just sort of, you might need to loosen the bolt that holds it in place. So you can just loosen it off, and then that just slides down with this, and then pull this back and just hook it up like I've done, so it's out of the way of the pan surface where it sits. And then you've got your transmission shifter mechanism there, which is called, what do they call that bloody thing? Intelligent Select Module, I believe it's called, the ISM, which is basically what drives the transmission to shift gear, or not shift gear, sorry, but the selector on the stalk. So you've got your, we've got our park, our column shifter, that's it. That's the unit, that actual transmission from the electrical signal from the column shifter. And they can be faulty sometimes, and you can see how tight it is to get your flipping hands up in there to do anything. So I'll see if I can get this harness off, otherwise we might just do our best to keep it out of the way. But yeah, it's ready to go. I've taken off that little bracket as well. That was easy, 13mm screws. So all we need to do now is drop these bolts and drain it out. I'm just going to go grab a coffee quickly, half an hour break, and then we'll come back and drop the pan, put the new pan in, new filter, new seal, fill her up, and we are done. And conveniently, I didn't measure the oil that was dropped out of there, which is actually, it's not a bad thing. It just means I'm going to need to spend a little bit more time filling the transmission correctly and make sure we don't overfill it or underfill it. But it'll be fine. It didn't drain much, to be honest. It probably drained about 3 litres, 2.5, 3 litres. So we need to make sure we have our oil dipstick here. This one, yep, our red dipstick. So if you don't have one of these already, team, make sure you buy one for your car so you can measure that oil level correctly. So team, remove the pan. There's the magnet. It's got a very small amount of stuff on it, which is fine. But even then, it's only done 2,000 Ks, so the oil overall is clean though. It's nice and clean still, which is good. It's pretty clear. So what I'm going to do is just re-empty this out, use some brake cleaner, clean this up, dry it all off, clean the magnet again, and then we'll replace our filter, and then we'll reseal it again with a new seal. Even though the seal, to be honest, is pretty much brand new still. But again, we'll do it properly, and then we don't have to touch this for another several years. Cool. We've got the bottom all back together. Transmission oil pan torqued down to 8 Nm, all the bolts. We've got the main drain bolt torqued to 20 Nm, so that's all tightened up. Engine oil drain plug was 25 Nm, and we've put the under paneling back on. I've then put a new oil filter in, new man filter. We drain quite a bit of oil, so I'm going to put about 7 litres in to start with of 5W40 HPR Penrite oil, which is a New Zealand, Australian oil that I use on every car basically. And then after that, we'll run the car for a little bit and reassess. So I've got this AGA oil filling, clean filling kit, which is really good. It's still a bit of a hassle to pull it out of the box and set it up. It's just so much cleaner than trying to like sort of pour it into a funnel and then spilling it all the time on the covers and things. It's just a lot simpler. So if you do a lot of oil changes like I do, it's definitely not a bad option to have on hand. The oil filter out of this car, team, I checked it. It's obviously clean as a whistle. There's no debris or anything in it really. Partly that it's only done 2,000 Ks. Also that the engine's obviously, regardless, a very clean engine, which is good. So we'll get this filled up. I did notice on the, you can see here on the windscreen wiper blade connections to the motors, there's no caps on them. So I do have some of those spare, I think they're second hand, that I pulled off a wrecking S-Class a while ago. So I'll chuck those on the car just to make it real smart, because, you know, we don't want an S-Class with bloody big sort of silver aluminium bolts sticking out where the window wiper's attached. That's messy, so I'll see if I can put that on there. My only thing is, I am concerned, I'm probably wrong, but I am concerned that that one there is an aftermarket bolt. It should be black like this one, so the caps might not fit, but we'll try it anyway. We all know if I leave this, it's going to fall off and spill oil everywhere, so I probably won't do that. Oh no, that's right, here we go. Let's have a quick look. There we go, team, those are the ones I've got 3 of them on hand. I don't know if they'll fit, we'll just try quickly. There are slightly different versions between models, so that part number might depend. That part number is a 220 part number, so it'll probably fit 211s and 203s and stuff. No, unfortunately not, team. Nope, that ain't gonna fit. Does it fit this one? Yeah, it fits this one. Yeah, it fits that one, so I'll put it on that one. That one's going to need a new bolt, which I'll be able to steal off the car. And when I say steal, I don't mean literally steal, but go to a wrecking yard and whip one off and see what else I can find and replace that bolt. But we'll have to do that next year because I won't be going there before this car leaves. Cool, so we've got 7 litres in. Start it up, run it for a second before we do start it up. We'll close that, and also we'll put some ATF in the car because we've obviously drained the transmission, so we want to make sure we don't start it with a dry box. Not that it will have a dry transmission because there's still a lot of oil in there, but we don't want to have it sort of half empty, so we'll just chuck, I think we'll chuck 2 litres in just for half a minute, and then we'll come back in and we'll come back in after half a minute, just measure it again and maybe chuck another litre in. Yeah, and I'll have to put a new tab on this because these tabs break off. Sometimes you can get them out without breaking them, but usually they'll break. So just push that through. Pull that cap off, there we go. Cool, tank, let me put 3 litres. So folks, we've got the 3 litres into the transmission, 7 in the engine. I'll crank her up and we'll just get a bit of oil flow going, and then we'll top off what we need. reckon we've hit a slight roadblock. The transmission oil is just a bit low, probably needs half a litre on top. The place that I ordered more transmission fluid from has sent me, even though the packing slip shows the right stuff, they've sent me Liqui Moly double clutch transmission oil for some reason. And I was thinking maybe it's a substitute, but surely not. It's got approvals MB 236, 2122, 2421, blah, 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 but not 236.14, which is what this oil is. So I'm sort of stuck. I'm just going to go and find some oil just to make up that little bit of difference. So I'll probably go and buy a Penrite oil for it from the shop. So let's try that. I'll be back soon. And we'll measure the engine oil as well, make sure we've got enough in there. Right team, so we'll fix this up. Unfortunately, because the oil used on these cars is quite specific, I don't even have the right oil and I can't find one locally here, so I have to order it in and hopefully they send me the right product next time. What we're going to do is use our scraper here. So what we'll do is we will chuck a little bit of masking tape, got masking tape somewhere, just on around this piece here, and then I'm going to spray it with this stuff here, which is like a multi-purpose, like a sticky adhesive remover, and then we'll just slowly clean this up, clean the gunk off it with the scraper. Then I'll use a little bit of light cut, we'll cut it, give it a little hand polish, and then we'll stick our, I'm saying that I probably won't hand polish it actually, because I want the new one to stick on properly. So I might just give it a cut and then use a little bit of, I might just cut it and leave it at that. I think that won't leave any residue, whereas I think polish leaves a bit of a coating on it, which we don't want. The customer has this already in his car. He's got 2 of them, which is cool. I don't believe they're genuine. Just even looking at this back plate here, like that's not genuine. It's got the same design as what Mercedes uses. The print quality is different. See this is a genuine one. This is the Chinese one, I believe. It's definitely not the same thing. So it's just one of those real high quality, well, real good looking, I should say, rip-off badges. So we're just gonna literally steal the U out of it and stick that on instead. Cool. Yeah, let's get into it. So team, we've done that badge now. So that was actually very easy to do. You can tell whoever originally put the badge on, it's not really perfect, like the O's slightly, slightly twisted to the right and the T's a little bit upward and facing. And the badge overall is actually, I feel, very slightly pitching up rather than being level. So it's not great, but it looks better like that anyway with the U there at least. Yeah, but originally it should be this sort of badge. They didn't put bi-turbo on the standard Mercedes. Only the AMGs had the bi-turbo nomenclature. We're going to have to wait for the oil to come and then we'll start it up, take it for a drive, measure the oil properly, give her a clean and hand her back to the customer. But everything should be pretty good now. Before we do that, we'll just check the oil level again. I wish mine had that screen as well, it's so annoying. They did do a lot of extra little bits with the facelift, which they didn't do on the pre-facelift. They just got it, even like the interior ambient lighting, as you can see there, is the solar color, which mine is as well, but you can change this to whatever you want. Yeah, we need to be at about 8.5 or 9 litres from memory. So we'll chuck some more oil in it soon. I'll chuck another litre in now actually off camera, just so that's done. And yeah, so no, that's all good. We'll have to wait for the oil to come and then we can get it going again. Put all our covers back on. I need to check the secondary order coolant circuit's good, but yeah. I've got my one in the garage. Needs a clean, it's real dusty. Yeah, let's continue. E55. Right team, so it's the following weekend now. Bit of a mission to get these bloody oil bottles replaced. The shop I bought them from firstly didn't respond to my email, so I rung them up. They weren't really interested in fixing it, so I drove up there and swapped them with the new product. At least the guy at the shop was real good. He was quite apologetic, so that was good at least. So yeah, hard to get good service in New Zealand a lot of the time. I've put about 3/4 of that bottle into the car. I've pulled up the screen as well for the temperature. And we just want to get the engine temperature up to 25 degrees Celsius, so we can then measure our fluid level when it's at 25 degrees. There's about 8.5 litres of oil in it, so we might need to chuck just a slight bit more and we'll be good to go. Those new belts are perfect. Very smooth engine, this one, very smooth. So you got to put it into drive or reverse before you measure the temperature. It'll change, it'll jump downwards generally. So as soon as we get this oil level right, I can get the car out and give it a little bit of a detail, just very lightly. I'm not a detailing expert, but even just these little marks on the door here, just get our leather cleaner and just tidy that up and give it a bit of a vac, just so it's nice. So if I hold it, put it in drive, make sure your foot's on the brake. It actually doesn't make much difference, which is funny. There you go, 21 and then 33 when it's in park. 35, yeah. So we'll get our measurer out, we'll be ready to go. And I'm just going to measure the fluid level on our dipstick here. So I'll do that off camera. We'll get it all measured up. Team, I overfilled it slightly, so I drained about 400 mils out, and now it measures at 25 degrees perfectly, so it's pretty much bang in the middle of the range there. So I just chucked a teeny bit more in just to top it up, and it's perfect now. I got a new little red tab here, so chuck that on the top there, put the tab in, and just click it down like that. We'll put our covers back on. We've got a new oil cap on. 8.5 litres of oil. I don't think it needs any top up, but I'll just cross check with the manual again quickly what it is and top it up if need be. I've put some more coolant off camera into that coolant circuit for the intercoolers, so that's all good now. Yeah, we're pretty much done, team. The only other thing I was going to do was take some fluid out of the ABC system because it was quite full. But then when we look at it here, it looks like it's pretty good. Prick of a dipstick. Yeah, it's just ever so slightly overfilled. So I'll just suck a teeny bit out of it. Not that it probably needs it, but I'll do it anyway. And yeah, put our covers back on and we're good. Taking the 600 for a drive, just to give it a run. Everything's mint, like it's just nice and quiet, composed, smooth as silk, probably smoother than mine even. Just really nice, just drives very nice, so everything's great on it. Cool, so that's the job we've done today. That's the job we've done today on the S600. Been a pretty simple job. So we've done the fuel filter in the back seat there. It's all put back together now, looks mint. We've done the transmission fluid flush. I overfilled it a bit, so I drained a bit out again, new filter. We've done the engine oil, we've done the front belts. There's no more squeaking at all on startup, so everything's solid and quiet now, which is beautiful. Yeah, everything's good to go. Anyway, team, it's quite interesting when you look at this car compared to my one. They're both the same car. They're both the 221 176, which is a S600 car. But there's quite a few differences even in this one. So the facelifts, you get this wooden trim the whole way through, which is quite nice. Whereas you'll remember on my videos, if you've seen them, the wood ends here and it's just sort of like Napa covered leather here. So you get that, which is a bonus. On this car, at least, it's got much nicer sort of stitching along the door cards here. And you've also got different switches. So these switches here, you can put your finger under. Oh, now this has also the rear blinds, which is awesome. But you can put your finger under, where on the pre-facelift, it's like a flat panel and you just sort of touch front to go down and touch on the back push button to go up. Oh no, other way around, sorry, other way around. But you know, so it was quite a different design. So they've redone that for the facelift of this car. The steering wheel to me is just ever so slightly thicker, but that could just be me, like a placebo-y thing, thinking it is when it might not be. We've also got Distronic on this car, which is indicated by the little car exclamation mark there. It's got lane keep assist as well, which works well. It just vibrates the steering wheel very lightly. And it's also got attention assist. And also the facelift cars got ABC Sport mode, which my one didn't, which is interesting. So you get ABC Sport mode, it seems, on the facelift cars. And you've also got different modes. You've got, instead of CMS, you've got EMS. And I think E's like Eco, maybe. Someone correct me though, it seems stupid to have Eco mode on a bloody V12 S-Class, but anyway. And just the buttons are slightly different, the layout of the buttons and what they do, but there's no point going into detail on that. You've still got the same cool keypad. I just gave that a nice clean for the customer. There's just those little subtle differences. Even the paddle shifters are different. The headlining's lovely on the suede version with the standard sunroof. You can see you've got that lovely sort of line piping there. And there's 9, there could be 12 of those there for V12. I might be wrong, but I counted just 11 now. 11, okay, V11. And yeah, the seats. Look at this, you get V12 badges in the seats. You get V12 badges on the floor mats. Just so much, just nicer little accoutrements on this car compared to my one, even though they're both the same car. They both cost the same money when they would have been bought. If anything, my car was probably more expensive because it has the Disinyo paintwork, which I can't remember the bloody name of it off the top of my head right now, but it's a Andorite grey, yeah, which was a Disinyo paintwork from memory, and it was a costly option anyway. And it also had the dual panoramic sunroof, which was again an option. So if anything, my car was nicer, or sorry, more expensive, but this car's nicer in my opinion. I love mine, don't get me wrong, but just as you know, the facelift is just different. It's always different on every car. Anyway, that's all I'd like to highlight in this. There's other stuff as well. It's different, like even in the engine bay, there's different components. They've changed things around. You're looking at a car, you're looking at a sort of engine build from 2006 for my car, development 2005, 2006, to then the facelift, which was probably developed between 2008 and 2009, roughly. So there's just that slightly newer innovation technology. And I guess if you think about it, the W210 E55s in New Zealand, I believe I was told they were about $200,000 brand new, maybe just slightly over. But then the 211 E55 with the supercharger and the Airmatic and so much more technology was the same price as well. So, the pricing stays similar-ish, but the technology just goes in leaps and bounds, and that's obviously there. So anyway, this car's good to go. I'm just going to give it a quick clean for the customer. You can see the layer of dust on it because he's had it under his car cover, so I'll just go to very basic quick wash and he's ready to pick it up. We'll see it next year hopefully. But thanks for watching, team. Please like and subscribe. More content coming soon. Cheers.